It's the final table of the final Pot Limit Omaha event of the series as a No Limit Hold'em phenom tries to steal the title. This is the 2021 U.S. Poker Open coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, and we welcome you once again to the PokerGO studio for final table coverage of event number 8, the 10K Pot Limit Omaha. He is Brent Hanks, I am Jeff Platt, and Brent, Ali Imsirovic flop quads to end day one. If it's a PokerGO Tour event, you know Ali will be in the mix.
Is he confused or something? This isn't No Limit Hold'em. I didn't know he could play with 4 cards, Jeff. What's going on here?
The man can do it all. 5 PokerGO Tour titles. Tough task ahead, though, if he wants to win PokerGO Tour title number 6. Let us take a look at our final table leaderboard. It is brought to you by Global Poker, free poker at its best. And Brent, Jared Bleznick, our chip leader, Maxx Coleman, Joseph Sanders, Ali Imsirovic, our top 4. A couple short stacks still in the mix, but everyone is chasing the mixed game specialist in Bleznick.
Bleznick is a PLO expert, Jeff. His largest career cash came in a Pot Limit Omaha event back in the World Series of Poker in 2013. He's unstoppable. He had a cash in the Poker Masters. In fact, if you look at his Hendon mob, Jeff, his last result, Poker Masters, Pot Limit Omaha event. One other thing about Bleznick.
Yes,
He's
sir.
going to get under everybody's skin.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about just the way he looks at you, the way he speaks. I don't know what it is, but Bleznick has a way to rub you the wrong way.
You remember him hugging Kerry Katz at the end of that Poker Masters event?
Incredible.
Perhaps slightly awkward. Hey, how about Maxx Coleman? A 5th place finish in event number 2, the other 10K PLO. A 4th place finish in event number 4, the 10K Big Bet Mix with a win today would move into 2nd in the overall series standings. What do we need to know about Maxx Coleman? We're seeing him everywhere.
He flies under the radar. Maxx Coleman, Mad Max, that's what I'm going to call him. From Kansas, great results. I mean, they're amazing mixed game specialists. The guy can also play with 2 cards. Looking over that Hendon mob resume, he knows how to get it done. He will be a contender. I assume he's going to finish out the remainder of the series in contention for the 50K bonus money, in contention for that Golden Eagle trophy.
We'll see how he does in his 3rd final table of this series. Let us catch you up on event number 7. In case you missed it yesterday, it was David Peters winning his 3rd career U.S. Poker Open title. And Brent, what a performance he put on throughout this entire final table.
A clinic. He took Jaffe right to the cleaners. There was no chance that the Big Tuna was going to take down David Peters in this event.
Wins almost $218,000, 218 points in the race for that USPO Series Championship. And after he won, he jumped into this very event. He finished in 8th, and that puts him in 3rd place in the overall USPO standings. Let us take a look at your top 5. Joe McKeon still leads the way after a win in event 1, after a 3rd place finish in event number 7. That win was in event 3, by the way. Stevie Z in 2nd place. There's Peters in 3rd, Dan Shack in 4th. John Reardon rounds out our top 5. Brent, are you still comfortable with that lead for McKeon?
I'm not comfortable at all. Not one bit. David Peters did this back in 2019. He's our reigning champion here at the U.S. Poker Open. This is what he does. Just comes out of the woodworks very quietly, doesn't even say a word ever, and he just wins, gets it done. Peters right now, although he's only in 3rd on the standings, he's the favorite to win the title.
The one player that could jump everybody to take the lead in the overall series standings, that would be Ali Imsirovic. Let us fire up some Pot Limit Omaha. Ali Nejad and Len Ashby have the call. Your final table coverage starts right now.
A sun-soaked Las Vegas Strip as things are heating up with summer upon us, and of course the U.S. Poker Open 2021 edition coming to you from inside the PokerGO studio at Aria Resort and Casino. Ali Nejad alongside Len Ashby and 6 hopefuls, one of whom didn't get the summer memo. That would be Jared Bleznick in full winter attire there. He looks like a lamb in that hat. It is event number 8, the 10K PLO, and there's ears on that thing, Len.
I'm not going to lie, this shocked me. I don't know what this is, but I guess he's pulling it off, but only Jared could show up with this, I think.
We do keep it cool in the studio. Jared Bleznick is your chip leader. More wolf than lamb. When it comes to PLO, he is the man. Over 2 million right now in front of him. Not far behind is Maxx Coleman. This is Max's third final table. Final tabled our other PLO event and also the Big Bet Mix. Joseph Sanders and Imsirovic follow in third and fourth. And there is Ali, always smiling at the table. I feel like I've never seen that guy upset playing poker.
Well,
has he just never run bad enough?
Well, I mean, I'd be smiling a lot if I had his resume as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. #1 on the PokerGO Tour leaderboard. As we look at our tournament format, brought to you by PokerCoaching.com. The levels are 40 minutes, 6 30-second time banks per player, and 2 re-entries were permitted. Now, I know you mentioned, Lynn, that you have some personal experience with some of the folks here at this table as we glance upon the Gilded Eagle, which will be awarded to the overall U.S. Poker Open champion. This event worth $189,000 up top. On deck, though, 37-8 for 6th.
Yeah, I've known Jared quite a long time, and Joseph Sanders, a good friend of mine. Got a little 5% sweat on him today, Ali, so I saw a little vested interest in Joe.
Yes.
So, hopefully he does well. He's a great player. He's been around a long time. Just goes about his business and shows up to play.
Quietly cobbling as you get a look at Christopher Usude. Christopher from Beverly Hills, California, an entrepreneur and a co-founder of Centurion Black Jets. Went to UCLA, has $158,000 in career tournament earnings. His mother from Barbados and his father Nigerian. Grew up splitting his time between London and the Caribbean and is a regular in some of those private games out in LA. And let me tell you, from having lived in Beverly Hills, my friend, there are a lot of bad poker players with a lot of money ready to play some cards in the private game streets there.
Yes, Mr. Usude probably in a very good spot, I would say, being in some cash games there.
Bleznick and Imsirovic will face off in the first hand of the final table. Ali limped on the button. Blez check back from the big, and here he is with a wrap and deuces. Imsirovic has missed. Not a diamond out there for backdoor hopes. Ace of hearts on the turn, and the wheel comes through for Bleznick, along with 6 high hearts for the redraw. Is Blez wearing a Blez shirt?
I think so, and he's also got a package of basketball cards, which he is invested in. He has his own shop, I believe. Basketball cards have gone way up in value. I don't know if you know that or.
Well, yeah, I know Dan Fleischman has been involved in the card collection.
It's a lucrative business right now. There's some cards that are going for absurd value. And had me searching through all my cards, and all I found was a bunch of Fred McGriffs. So,
the crime dog.
The crime dog's not worth much money.
All my 88 Donruss rated rookies really
I got a lot of 88s.
Like I thought they would.
You kind of need really old cards or really new cards.
Well, Blez's resume is very impressive, and I was going to mention that Tar Marchese is also involved in that sports card project. Marchese, a very accomplished poker player.
These cards are brutal, right?
A little bit.
It's good to see the guys putting their money to work in some outside endeavors, by the way, because if you take all of it and just do nothing but punt on bottle service and the pits and, you know, all the typical league sports, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
You can set yourself up real nice with some of the money these guys have put together for themselves. Passive income.
Yeah, it's good to have a little skin in the game and something else. Jared's been known to bet some sports as well. Me and him sometimes always end up talking NBA playoffs when we see each other, who we like, et cetera.
Get a little juice-free action down?
Yeah, we usually are like kind of the similar sides, it seems like, in the past in championship games and stuff like that.
Blez with the ace-jack-jack-4, choosing to just limp against Sanders, who has the 9-8-8-3. No question who Len's rooting for here. Queen 10-10. Blez with the gut shot Broadway draw and the jacks. Way the best of it. Decides to check. Blinds at 15 and 30,000 with the 30K big blind ante means that Usude and Crivello are on the short stacks, and obviously that could be playing a part in some of the more conservative approaches we're seeing here in six-handed play with respect to pre-flop. Sanders taking a 45K stab, and Len just had the life drain out of his face as Jared check raises his 5% sweat.
Yeah, Jared makes a good read here on the situation. Makes a good raise. I think Joseph was trying to take advantage of position, and don't blame the bet.
Nobody did anything wrong there.
Nobody did anything wrong there. Jared just kind of outplayed the situation, which he will do, especially in heads-up situations. Very good heads-up.
I'm trying to see it.
The incongruence of a T-shirt with the full-on winter spec lamb hat is tough to reconcile visually.
I'm not going to lie. If you're wearing that, I'm calling you on the river. I mean, you're just going to get called. I mean, you're just going to get called. So he needs to have it, I think, today when he's piling it in. You're just going to call a guy looking like that. So that's my personal opinion.
9 players made the money in this event. Adam Hendricks picked up $19,000 roughly in 9th place. David Peters, who Brent Hanks chose as the favorite to win the overall USPO title. 3-time champion now, picked up $25,000 and change. And Dylan Weissman picked up $31,500 in 7th. Meanwhile, Crivello showing us his first action. Double suited with the 6-high rundown.
Yeah, he's trying to get in cheap, see a flop. It's a very playable hand. It's a sexy hand, I guess you could say, especially in cash games. He's kind of a little bit short. He's got about 19 big blinds. I wouldn't mind a fold under the gun with this hand, but if he gets in cheap, the hand plays super well post-flop.
Check. Heads up. Usude says run it. The involuntary customer to the Jack-Jack 4-2 diamond flop. He has the 10-high flush draw, better of the 2 between himself and Crivello, and leads right out. Crivello does have a 4 and, of course, that flush draw. Paired flops, very difficult to navigate with straight and or flush draws, especially when the draws are weak like this one is.
Yeah, you're in no man's land. You kind of, if you're raising here, you're raising to bluff, really, and calling just seems bad. And it's not a very good situation for your hand, so he's going to lay it down. Nice
Well
little stab
executed,
there
yeah.
to get it through.
Took his one shot there, did Chris.
Those little pots are meaningful, you know. They give you a little momentum, so to speak. Obviously builds your stack a little bit.
Got the Tom Fords working.
I can't pull those off.
You just look rich when you wear that type of eyewear. I don't care what you're worth. You
Yeah.
just throw that on. Meanwhile, the lamb hat doesn't exude quite the same degree of financial prowess.
No, it doesn't.
Despite the fact that Jared, of course, has been printing in poker for a good long time. $1.6 million in career live tournament earnings for the Blez, by the way. A little bit shy of what I would have imagined, but he does his work in the cash game streets.
Yes, he does. Obviously known for his online history. Very successful.
Some controversy.
Some controversy on that history, which is very well known with his multi-accounting issues that he's had. But do not let that take anything away from how skillful Jared is at the poker table.
Well, skillful enough to decide that limping with these 2 aces is the way to trap somebody. And look at Usude picking up the kings, in trouble here. Ace, queen, 6, top set for Jared, but the monotone flop leaves him up against Crivello's 10 high clubs. Frank was just in the big blind. To be fair, it's a hand he probably would have defended with had Jared chosen to open raise.
Yeah, and Usude's got the dry king here. He could choose to pot it. He chooses not to.
Has a Broadway draw for backup in his mind, but of course we know that that would be no good. A round of checks as Blez decides not to fire. 7 of spades on the turn.
Check.
Now Crivello gets busy, just firing 50 into the buck 20.
Yeah, Jared will just call here. He does have the jack of clubs as a blocker to someone having a flush.
Call.
That would be the second nut club. And Usude keeps it clean. God, he got away cheap, didn't he?
Yeah, and let that be a lesson out there. A lot of people burn off a lot of money firing it off with the blocker.
Check.
And
Case king shows up on the end, by the way.
He makes
Usude might be
straight.
thinking, is that any good?
Jared
What are the limits?
could go for some value maybe
20 in the pot is
with
30.
the
No, what are the
straight
limits? What are
actually,
we playing?
and or
15,
just
30.
check it back,
Yeah.
show it down. Either way, he's going to lose.
Well, we don't know that. A full pot size bet from Jared here, would that not be of concern for Crivello, who's got the third nut clubs?
Maybe, but I don't think he
Call.
necessarily folds.
Straight.
I have a flush.
Listen.
Min bet on the end there from Jared.
We saw Jared limp in there. He has a super premium hand, but Jared is going to try to take advantage of seeing flops. I think his post-flop play when he wants to be is extremely good, and building the pot is a disadvantage in that situation. If you're pressing the action pre-flop, you can't use all your skills getting to the rivers,
Double suited?
making good bluffs, and
Sure.
good calls.
And you accept that you're going to maybe lose to some hands that wouldn't otherwise take flops, as you got to look at Frank Crivello's resume there. A couple of $100,000 in career tournament earnings. Did pick up a PLO bracelet in 2020 in the online 800 double stack, good for $94,000, and finished 40th in the World Series of Poker main event back in 2017. From
Wow,
San
40th.
Diego, and boy, what I wouldn't give to be out there right about now. The weather is beautiful in Southern California.
Well, we
Meanwhile,
got the
you-
U.S. Open there next week, Ali. Golf.
God,
I
are we
know you're
talking about
a
golf
big golf fan. You got the U.S. Open there. Torrey
You know my
Pines.
thing, man. If we're going to talk about golf, there either needs to be a free round available on the 18th or a motorized clown's mouth. Otherwise, why are we talking about it?
Well, you could just play with some clown and
And
have a card.
and then bet on a round on
yeah,
the 18th.
there you go. You cover all the details.
I actually enjoy driving a golf cart off path.
Off path.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that
me.
sounds real safe. Yeah.
2 jacks and a 5 here as 10s and 8s square off, blind versus blind. Crivello the limper and Coleman
35.
going to take his shot.
Not a bad flop for either hand. Blind versus blind on a paired board.
But Crivello's call here is just designed to, pick off a one-shot bluff
Yeah,
and get to showdown.
You're really hoping your opponent doesn't barrel it off and put you in a weird spot. You can almost eliminate hands like queens, kings, aces from Maxx. So it's like he just has nothing, or he has a jack. He has 5 sometimes.
A lot of equity picked up by Coleman on the turn here. Backdoor clubs and an open ender. And he makes both on the end. The 10 high flush. And Crivello's going to fire with what I assume to be just the 2 10 blockers here.
Yeah, he's turning his hand into a bluff, seems like. And Maxx doesn't love it. He's gonna
No,
call
but he
them.
does have to call. I think Frank knows 10s are unlikely to be good. And Crivello gets a look at the backdoor clubs. He doesn't seem too amused by the get there.
Yeah, he had the best hand. He was right on the flop, and then he had to end up turning his hand into a bluff, which kind of sucks when your opponent gets there like that.
Well, Coleman from Kansas.
Yes,
Kansas,
sir.
Kentucky, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
Len,
It just
you
has
know,
a K in it. And
the K-States.
a bunch of fields everywhere. Occasionally they play a little PLO.
And non-occasionally, Maxx plays a little chess. How
Yeah.
much chess is getting played in Kentucky, Len?
We call it checkers there, just so you know. But there's no chess in Kentucky. Checkers is as advanced as it gets. And then you got the Chinese checkers. Now that is like, if you play the Chinese checkers, that's
I don't even know how to play that.
Like,
I've seen it.
super advanced.
Seems like more trouble than it's worth.
Meant for it to happen again.
Fold it all the way around to
Very
Coleman.
excited.
Ace, queen, 8-4 double.
Yeah, premium here.
Ace of 90,000.
And he'll look to take it here and now.
I have 3 of them. It's probably not a
Oh,
good hand.
the third king makes it less playable, especially when it's off suit.
Saw a funny tweet from Ali this morning. He's saying made his third final table. He was in PLO and he has no idea what he's doing. And it goes back to what I was saying in the last PLO event, where I feel like the tournament guys have just a great advantage when it gets down to 2 tables left in some of these events, and just the experience of that outweighs someone who is more
experienced
experienced in the game
actual
that
game.
you're actually
Okay.
playing. That's my opinion on it. And
yeah, there's a tipping point at which understanding how to play a tournament versus
Yes.
understanding the game you're playing starts to equalize.
yes, I 100% believe that.
There is Tom Marchese in the background, by the way. Jared's
I
partner
saw
in the
that,
card shop.
and kind of a rare appearance for him these days. I think
Yeah.
Tom doesn't really get out
20,000 total.
and play as many events. I don't think as he used to.
Jared's got him working the cashier probably over there. He's like, Tom,
Opening
buddy,
those cards, man.
I got to go out and play. You handle the shop. 4 diamonds for Bleznick. And nevertheless, he decides to defend with ace-10-5 tray. You generally don't want a monotone hand, though.
No, that's a pretty loose defend here.
Unsurprisingly, no diamond on the king-queen-6 board.
Check.
Jared is the type of player that can get away with playing a wide range of hands because his post-flop play is very, very good. So if you're a less experienced player, you want to tend to lean towards the tighter side pre-flop that flop nut hands and are easier to play. Jared was in a game with me at the Win one time.
Okay.
Back and forth as the game was about to break with this kid talking about limit hold'em, and the kid was a pro that was in the game and didn't think Jared played limit hold'em very well.
Oh my God!
Ended up playing heads up for some pretty large stakes.
Oops.
I text Josh Ladinas the next day, who was also playing the game. I said, did they end up playing limit hold'em? He said, yeah, people bet on it, and Jared beat him out of a lot. And I said, wow, that's crazy that kid would play Jared. I mean, Jared has a lot of experience playing heads up. He said, yeah. He said, Josh said, 2 things I know about Jared. He's really good at heads up, and he's really good at getting people to play him heads up. And he took advantage of that situation that day for sure.
How is it that this person didn't understand the spot he was getting himself into?
Well, I mean, Jared's experience maybe in limit hold'em may be small, but it was more of just kind of talking. But Jared, I've seen play numerous heads-up matches in various games.
Deuce to 7, I've watched him play
in Bobby's
real
room,
big.
he was playing really big against some people in that game. I think he was actually spotting his opponent something, either amount per hour or.
Spot me a deuce.
Yeah.
I'll get on in
I
there.
may be able to beat that game.
8-7-5-3 double for Coleman. Gets no action after making it 100 to go. Blinds have crept up to 20 and 40 with a 40K ante. And that leaves Crivello and Usude with 13 big blinds.
Yeah, getting down there. You're going to have to pick a spot sooner or later.
Those 100K chips not yet in play as we look at the denominations, brought to you by Progressive, just the Bluebirds and the Barneys.
You ever seen a 100K cash chip?
I have.
Yeah,
I
those
have.
are.
They're impressive.
I remember
I've never owned one.
Blazarian brought them out one day in a game a long time ago. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
What are these things?
Yeah. It's generally not the pure poker players that bring them through, though. That stuff comes, floats its way in from the pit.
Finds its way from
Usually.
the baccarat to the poker table.
Crivello's aces, making it 120 to go. Jack, 8-7 for Sanders, and you'll like that, I assume, or a little bit too snug?
No, that's, I think, pretty good fold. Maybe the big blind defends with that hand. Crivello's pretty short, so it's not like if you flop your hand, you're going to totally maximize something.
And this could be trouble for Usude as he's picked up kings against aces once more. 9-9 deuce with a couple of diamonds, though, and he's got himself a king-high flush draw, so no escape so far for Chris.
Pot.
300,000.
And he decides to lead out for pot and snap rip. comes Crivello. You know that Usude was always ready for it, and the 2 short stacks will square off, and there will be blood regardless. Someone's going to be on fumes or busted. Crivello ever so slightly has Usude covered.
Max kind of gave a laugh there. Would have flopped 4 nines.
3-2 favorite is Crivello. Usude wants a king or a diamond. Then the diamond comes in right away. So it's going to be an ace and an ace alone, given that the 9s are dead, that will bail Crivello out. Otherwise, he's going to have a little 60K nublet. 7 of diamonds, not going to do it, and no justice there.
Yeah, a couple 2 premium hands went to war there. And Kings got there with the flush.
If there's any silver lining, it's that it happened against the 1 player Crivello had covered. So chip in a chair mode engaged for Frank. It's going to take some real spins, though.
It's possible. I've seen it.
Nice boost there for Usude, and
Can't afford the ante or the big blinds. What do I get first?
I think it's big blind first, right? You have to take your F1 off the rail there for me.
I think it's the ante.
well, this is an interesting situation, Len, where
Pretty sure.
Crivello
Paul.
No, ante first. So
Ante
40,000
first?
in the middle, then 10,000 is going to be.
can't afford either the ante
the big blind.
Shit.
or he can't afford both.
You
So
can't,
he's trying to ask about how his 60K will be divvied up. Will he,
can't like take a piece of him and like throw him 2 chips
How much I
over.
could do there.
just to help
Trying to get the other
make
guy
things
ready,
easy.
but
But believe the
Bigger
big
chips.
blind ante is the first portion that he's committed to.
Yeah, and that just will be his pot, right? So
And then 20K left over
40,000 to call.
in the big.
$110.
110.
See, I like that protection.
110 as Bleznick demonstrating some real willingness to get out there. I think the context is everyone presumes that Jared's hand's going to be real strong if he's willing to enter this pot, right? With
yeah, and everyone's just going to fold.
Crivello
Hope Crivello goes
being
out.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah. If 9
Jared's
high,
got
yeah,
that
holds,
8 hop
that'd
a
be
biggie.
amazing. Oh, actually,
Now
there's
this-
6s.
Oh,
This is the kind of hand I think a man in a lamb hat
That's the best hand ever against this hand.
should
I'm not kidding. That's better than aces.
show.
I can't make a straight.
Jared is correct.
You need an 8
I'm drawing to an 8.
or 7.
9-6-6 deuce certainly is the right recipe for 8-7-5-4. And we'll see if Crivello can do a little bit better on this occasion, as he is the man who's all in. And to the flop we go. Ace, queen, 7. He's been outflopped. That texture is bad for the 9-6-6 deuce.
9 or 6.
Turn pairs the board, and it is a 9 or a 6
Or an ace.
or an ace.
Yeah.
Now that Crivello will need 7 outs once. Otherwise, he's the first casualty here at the event number 8 final table. And the 8 of diamonds on the end makes it official. Frank Crivello, your 6th place finisher,
Yeah.
Look,
gonna pick up $37,800 for his efforts. He looks like he's ready to hit the pool.
40 and 40.
He's got his drink.
Well, he's got some
Shorts.
money to take to the pool.
Yeah, he does. Although how much now they got that racket where they're charging you for a day bed and a lily pad and a whatever. You can't even get a seat out there. People go and reserve them like at 5 a.m. and
You got your
It's
$30
just-
Fiji waters. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, but just take it, man. Here, how much?
I'm waiting for the day where I see somebody come in with one of those military spec water filters and just stick a hose in the pool and just start filtering pool water
Have their own
into a cup, into a
their own
thermos.
spout.
I'm just being like, okay, yeah, here we go. It removes suntan oil and syphilis.
In Kentucky, we just grab the cup and just dip it in the pool.
Yeah, I bet you do. That's
What's a little chlorine?
that's a Lexington, Long Island.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Ace 10-9 deuce, not good enough for Imsirovic to participate. Ace 5 tray for
Raise it.
Blez, and up we go.
5 total.
The man of different styles. Limp with the good aces, shoot it up with the 3 hearts, ace 3, 3, 5.
Yeah.
Ali, you gotta,
Throwing some different looks at the boys, that's
Mix it
for
up.
sure. And that's, I mean, listen, it is important to get to showdown with a wide variety of hands to allow for your opponents to respect your range. Otherwise, you can get exploited.
For sure.
Call.
Anybody with that hat on is going to have quite the range.
King Jack 8-5 for chip leader Maxx Coleman in the big, defending against the second biggest stack.
Check.
5, 6, 7 all diamonds.
Check.
Blez with an enthusiastic check back.
Check.
Coleman now makes the straight 9 high.
Bet 80. Call.
Blez took a shot for 80K. Coleman going to make the call. And this will be interesting as the board pairs on the end, the kind of thing that potentially could really shrivel Coleman's hand if Blez decides to pile on something big.
Tough for Jared to really represent much here, though.
He doesn't have a diamond in his hand.
He'd have to be betting of 9s and 7s on the turn to make a full house, or set of 9s, I guess. And a lot of those hands would check back.
Well, what about the big flush? Which, of
Yeah,
course, he's
could-
unblocking.
He could for sure
275.
have that. And
Oh, wow.
he's going to go for it here. To his credit, Max's hand kind of looks like what he has, just kind of like a straight trying to get to showdown or a bad flush.
It's tough to rep a straight flush, though Coleman does have the 8 of diamonds in there.
He could very well, but if he doesn't think he can show down a winner. But I feel like he's going to think Jared doesn't have many queen high flushes and stuff in his range to be betting river here.
Would Jared simply check back on the river if he had a flush here, given that the board paired, or does he assume that Coleman's not going to seek to proceed
Well, he is doing
on the
it.
turn? Wow,
Wow.
look at this.
He does think Jared's capable of having a hand like, I don't know, 5s or king high flush that he checked back. And
Coleman's turning his hand into a bluff, make
for
no
sure,
mistake.
100%. And
Quick fold from Jared, and that'll be a good feeling.
shows a
Max
lot
had
of
the
heart
best
there
hand.
by Max.
Oh, yeah.
It was impressive.
Especially against the other big stack at the table.
Exactly. Which makes his hand even look even more strong.
Yep. Well, he's no slouch. Maxx Coleman. Proven that so far. 3 final tables in the
What did
USPO
you
for
show,
him.
Max? What'd you show? Where did it? What happened? Did you raise him?
No, I didn't show.
Now,
Oh, okay, it was a raise. All right.
in the construction of our 54-pound Golden Eagle trophy,
Thing keeps getting bigger,
Land.
man. Is this thing growing?
we've been feeding it.
Oh, neat.
There is an oversight.
Okay.
There's one glaring omission from the construction of that trophy.
And that is?
A loop on the top of the eagle head that would allow you to wear it as a pendant.
You can wear it?
It's 100,000.
You telling me you wouldn't want to wear that thing?
I mean, that's a. I mean, you might need neck surgery after wearing it for about an hour.
A little Flavor Flav.
I mean,
You know?
Imagine Jared wearing it with that hat on. Now that would be a scene.
You kidding me?
I mean, they may just kick him out.
He'd look like he was the king of TikTok if he did that. And be like, oh, that kid? Oh, yeah, no, he's got 60 million subscribers on TikTok. We're going, but he's got a bottle at Jewel tonight. We're all going down.
If he walked in the poker room, all the predators would just go after him and be like, hey, you want a seat? What game are you trying to play?
Yeah. Hey, Eagle Kid,
Hey.
come over here. Ace, queen, queen, 3 for Coleman as he squares off once more with Blez. Blez made it 100 skate.
Great flop here for Jared.
10, 8, 4. Got that wrap. 7, 9, jack. No diamonds working.
Well, it's even better, though. It's a rainbow board. Typically, when you flop wraps, you would prefer it to be rainbow.
Sure,
board.
but one diamond on the board would be nice for some potential backdoor.
Yeah.
And how tough is it to navigate these sorts of textures for Coleman's queens?
Very tough out of position, and that it makes it tougher for you to call a street and then maybe be able to bluff turn a little bit easier. When you're in position, say you pill one off here and turns a jack, your opponent checks, you have 2 blockers to the straight, makes it just easier for you to take that stab and pick up the pot.
And you got to always be asking yourself, if you're willing to make that call on the flop, what do I want to see on the turn? There's such a wide variety of cards that put your queens in jail.
Yeah, not many good turn cards.
Right. Jared's second barrel of $1.50. Gives the little lamb a little uptick.
Do you think he made this shirt? Like he went to online and created it, ordered it himself? Or did he somehow stumble upon this shirt at some clothing store? I don't think that's possible, right?
Well, my friend.
Am I wrong? What's
Apparently.
Google say? There's a Blez company?
The Sports Card Breakers.
Okay, well, that's probably his company, maybe. Maybe he's printing his own T-shirts.
That's what it is.
No Fred McGriff jerseys going in there. There's
No,
Blez T-shirts.
There's Blez rookie cards. Sanders with the ace, queen, 8, 7. Your boy's first
picks up a
entry.
little pot, premium hand. Utah Joe. A lot of people know him as from Utah. Lives,
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, he lives in Vegas now. Spent most of the last 10 years, I believe, in Los Angeles. Played a lot of Commerce. I've played with him there a lot, and played with him in Vegas a lot.
What would I do without you? As I'm looking at the leanest diary or bio I've ever been handed on.
And
someone.
I know, and I can talk about Joseph for days, man. He's a sports trivia guy. He's always bragging about his Utah Jazz stats that he knows. And who won the Rookie of the Year in 1987? Like, I really care.
Didn't Mark Eaton pass away recently?
Really?
You remember him?
He was, man, tall, right? 7'4".
He looked like messing with Sasquatch. The guy was big.
Now, they got a team this year, this Utah Jazz. I feel like they're going to win it. I think they're gonna win it all.
Passed away after a bicycle crash.
Wow.
Did Mark Eaton at the age of 64 recently, May 28th.
7'4", riding a bike. Wow, that's, I mean, terrible news. Not trying to laugh at the guy's death, but I believe he was like 7'4".
Yeah. He wasn't playing point guard.
No, he was not.
Meanwhile, I believe our first pre-flop 3-bet sliding in as Imsirovic targets Coleman's cutoff open. Double suited king, jack, 5, deuce. Is that enough kit to play out of position for another 250?
That's close. I could see either way here. Max pilling a flop or folding. I think Ali's range is pretty narrow there. Just gonna get out of the way, let him take it down.
Keeping it clean.
Saw he went to Washington State, Ali.
Yes, sir. Up in Pullman.
and
You ever been up there to the Palouse?
I've not.
I have. And let me just tell you, we went during homecoming week for a Cal football game. And as such, the 71 hotel rooms available within a 5 square mile radius of campus were all booked. So we were advised to drive to Moscow, Idaho, just across the eastern Washington state line, and look for a hotel there. But we were also advised that the road leading to Moscow, Idaho is perilous. It's one lane, 2 directions, or two lanes, one lane in either direction, and it's affectionately known as Blood Alley.
Yeah, I'm not getting on that road.
It was like 3 a.m. We'd just been on the road already from Berkeley.
And this was
for
before.
hours.
This was before Uber.
Way before
couldn't
Uber.
pay somebody to
By the
drive.
way, you still might not be able to get an Uber up in that neck of the woods. It's
Well,
pretty remote.
The one thing I know about Washington State is they're one of the few get even teams. You know that
The late game?
The late game.
The late
I mean,
game.
they're no Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii is
Hawaii's the get even. The action comes in on Hawaii. You had a bad day.
The books are sweating the Hawaii games more than the LSU Alabama games. I mean, there's so much action poured in on these get even games. The late night game.
You saw that series summary there. Steve Zolotow, the Eagle, his third final table, matching Coleman, or Coleman matching him rather, just the other day in the 8-game mix, where he finished second to Eli Elezra.
Oh, yeah, so
event
Ellie
number
won that.
6.
Good for Ellie.
3 aces with hearts for Usude as Bleznick opens with that last ace, his suited in spades, along with some clubs. And Usude elects to just flat here, a potential invitation to play a 3-way pot, but Coleman ducks out.
Yeah, I'm fine with him calling here. I think it's actually best as opposed to potting. Jared's not the type that's going to fold in position with a hand, and
a little too sticky, huh?
a lot of flops are coming like this that you just
Yeah.
you just can't continue on. So you might as well try to keep the the pot small.
Now the only thing that Usude could do potentially is float and hope for a club and then play the dry ace, right?
Yeah.
It's ambitious though.
Trying to get the showdown with this hand on this board is just going to be very difficult.
Let's see how much discipline Chris has. Enough to take his time with the decision as he exercises one of his time banks.
Yeah, you can tell he's just kind of like doesn't know what to do.
It's
kinda
annoying.
Frustrated. So it's an annoying hand. Just getting out of the way. Don't blame me.
Well, when in doubt, send it into the muck is probably not a bad idea, especially if you're out of position against the Blez. He's not generally a one-barrel kind of guy. He'll put you to the test. Is he iced out? Is Blez iced out on the timepiece? Looked like there were some baguettes around the bezel there.
Card
The
values.
Blezel bezel?
Card values are up, man. These
Crypto streets.
Nick Van Exel rookie cards are like going for like 2,100 maybe. You never know.
Nick Van Exel. Kenyon Martin.
Oh man. Oh,
They were the duo at Cincinnati.
They got no.
Right?
No.
They didn't play together?
Van Exel was
Way before?
Way before, kid.
You sure?
Yeah. Maybe you can look that up on your little Google pad here.
It's called a laptop,
Whatever.
Len. I mean, wow. Is that what they call it in Kentucky?
Yeah, Google pad. Yeah. Shout out to my kids. My oldest, I was cleaning up around the room the other day a little bit, and I found this picture. I tweeted it. She drew a picture of an iPad and said at the top, she wrote, "You're better than an iPad." And I was like, wow, that's like the nicest thing you could possibly say to someone, right?
She gave it to you?
She gave it to her sister, who's younger than her. And she made like a nice little note with it. "You're better than an iPad." I just thought that was the greatest thing. Imagine telling someone that they're better than an iPad. I mean, that's that's tough. I mean,
coming from a kid where the iPad is literally
life.
the greatest thing on earth.
Exactly.
It is the highest compliment one can be paid.
I got a real good kick out of that.
Ace, queen, queen, deuce for Coleman here.
Yeah, very nice hand here on the button. It's always good when your suited ace can flop tops. You see what I'm saying? Queen of diamonds.
Sure.
It's beautiful.
It is a little bit annoying, though, that he's got both Imsirovic and Blez directly to his left. These guys aren't pushovers when it comes to the blinds. Certainly willing to play a little more sticky than your average guy.
For sure, and you hope to be able to take advantage of when you do have position on them and you do have the button. And it's nice to pick up a decent hand here like he did.
Jack 4 tray rainbow. Bleznick. Top pair. Ace kicker. Pipped by the queens of Coleman, which have also turned into backdoor diamonds and a wheel draw.
5, 6. Okay.
What's up?
There you go.
Oh, right here.
We're good. Check. At 100.
Expected Max to go a little bit small here on the flop, which seems like he did. About half pot, a little less.
100 into 260.
Seconds. Raise 250 total.
And Jared deciding to raise it. What's that going to look like on this board texture?
He's trying to make it look really strong. He does have Jack in his hand. It is also a rainbow board, which helps the idea of being able to raise with this hand. If there was 2 hearts, he would have never in a million years raised with this hand. Just because his opponent has a flush draw and a pair and says, okay, you want to play big one? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
His hand is better to do this on a rainbow board.
Now, Blez does pick up a 2-way gut shot draw on the turn, but that 10 of diamonds has also given Coleman the same Broadway gutty along with nut diamonds.
10 seconds. Check.
Blez pumps the brakes. Do we need to bet this if we're Maxx Coleman with 760 out there?
If you think you can get a hand like, 3, 4, 5, 7 to fold, like something that check raise, like bottom 2 and a gutter or Jackson 3s,
Bet 760.
it is. I think it's a good bet.
Full pot.
He knows Jared's capable of raising this flop with pretty much anything. So he's fine with betting here. He has a good enough hand to play all in with, and he has a good enough hand to bet and just be able to take down the pot.
10 seconds.
Jared's just going to fold here, I believe. It's weird, like his turn card actually kind of helped his hand a little bit, but it's just not good enough to continue.
Sure. Coleman. Precision execution there. Breaking the 3 million chip mark as he has put almost 2 million in distance between himself and Jared, who came in as the chip leader.
Right now.
Double suited 10-8-6 tray for Usude into the muck.
Raise 100 total.
And Coleman's starting to get busy here. 8-6-5-4 with 3 clubs. Clears Imsirovic's hand, which was far better.
Yeah, as he should. He's got a lot of chips and playable hand. And Joseph's he's pretty solid tight, so I think he thinks he picks up the blinds a lot here. Having position on Jared and the hand's good too.
Pay jump from 5th to 4th is about $13,000 as you see queen 7 deuce with 2 hearts come off the flop. Sanders had defended. Comes up with just a deuce. Even dustier stuff for Coleman. But he's got position in that big stack. Fires the follow-up. And takes it down.
Button's good.
The ideal situation for Coleman from a tournament perspective has got to be to let Usude kind of get into a 10 blind range and then
You're winning too fast.
start raising
Big hands.
Yeah.
Even more.
The
right?
power of chips, it's pretty prominent, obviously, and he'll be looking to keep up the aggression here. Now up to 3.17. Usude's down to, let's see, he has 20 big blinds. That's still not really danger zone. He's fine.
Raise 100.
Ace, king, king, 3 for Coleman, and this may start to look like he's speeding, so it's nice to pick up a real hand.
It is. Jared's going to peel here in position with one of your hands,
I think
one of
the
your
top
mixed
card
game
is
hands, Ali.
kind of marked up a little bit.
The top card?
It's got a little, yeah, it's kind of a,
I think the top card is marked up.
I don't know if I'm a fan of the super reflective CHP shades that Sanders is working with. I mean, you peel your cards back and the whole world's got the ability
gets a free look.
right? Sanders asking for a replacement card for one that appeared to be marked as Bleznick defended. With a hand that works in some of our games, sure.
Yeah, and it's actually probably, I was going to say maybe Jared might stab on the flop there. He just has nothing, so just being able to maybe just use his position well, he maybe could take down a pot here after Max checks. But he didn't, and actually turns a decent card.
Coleman has picked up a wheel gutty and has the 2 kings along with the king of spades. Bleznick
What's in the pot?
with a wheel wrap. Max firing 250 into 300 on the meaty side.
All right, tournament dealers, 1,000 small, 15 big, 15 ante. No limit dealers, 1,000, 15, 15.
And Jared making this call, I feel as though it's not entirely a function of the wheel wrap, but rather maybe trying to find an opportunity to take this thing away on the end. You see the jack of clubs come in, and if Coleman checks this, Jared could very well turn his hand into a bluff.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting here. It helps to have one of those cards that, he decides not to.
I'm shocked that Jared snapped check back.
Well, you'd rather have at least a queen in your hand or king in your hand, and Max is capable of picking them off here on the river with a wide range of hands, I think.
You don't think that Jared ever has anything wrapped around that 9-10?
No, I think he would have made a little smallish bet on the flop. If he flopped any kind of paired straight draw and like 10 jack king even. You know.
And would never value bet 2 pair?
Jared could maybe bet 2 pair on the river. Yes, smallish and like 10
I
jack.
feel like you could put those 2 kings in a tough spot.
Yeah, well, Max might,
on the
if
end.
he bet small, Max might have turned his hand into a bluff again.
All right,
representing
we've seen
king,
that.
queen.
Right.
That's definitely possible.
And a quick peek at the PokerGO Tour leaderboard. U.S. Poker Open, Poker Masters, Super High Roller Bowl, all of the ARIA High Roller events. Anything 10K and up moves the needle here, and Imsirovic, the lion's share with over 1,500 points, 14 cashes, 2.1 million in winnings. Sean Perry, Chris Brewer, Sam Sommerville, and Sean Winter rounding it out. And Sean Perry's something else, man.
He's been on a heater, man. I mean, I saw where him and Ali got heads up, and Imsirovic got heads up 3 events in a row.
Yep,
in
the ARIA
High Rollers.
Were they 50Ks, I believe?
50 or 25, I believe it.
And Imsirovic went
that's quite the
2 and
parlay.
1.
I would like to bet on that.
Right?
Cash that ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, same 2 players.
Same 2
you know,
guys.
that's incredible to happen. I mean, the fields aren't super deep, but man, like, I doubt you'll ever see that happen again. All right, Ollie, how much did the hat cost?
It depends on if we're looking at synthetic or real fur.
Well, I promise you it's probably some fancy name Louis Vuitton brand. I mean,
You think it's...
he's not
wearing anything cheap.
no.
Up top.
You cannot wear that and it be cheap. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, I was shocked as we see Sanders, ace jack jack 6, making it 105,000. Coleman mulling things over from the big. He defends. I was out at Park City during Sundance one year, and we did the gifting suite thing or whatever, and they gave me this hat, and it was leather and had fur and whatever, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. This hat was $2,800, Glenn. I wouldn't have paid $28 for it, if I'm being honest. I've worn it, though, to the poker room, if I'm being honest, so I beat Blez to the punch, but mine didn't have ears. Meanwhile, King 9-7 drew a couple of checks, and Coleman checks a second time despite having hit the ace and picked up the Broadway gutty on the turn. That leaves Sanders firing with ace jack jack 6, and he is outkicked. Sanders looking a little bit like Rick Solomon.
He does a little bit, yeah.
Coleman calls the 140, and Joe can't be loving that. Rainbow tone. 8 on the end doesn't change either player's hand.
Down.
Ace queen.
Puke. That's the thought in Sanders' mind.
Yeah. I think he feels like he gets called by some aces up, and Maxx could have made a bad straight. Decides not to bet river.
Ace queen won that hand? Wow.
Sure, that's what Sanders wants to hear, Chris. Well, Coleman has just been a black hole, vacuuming up all the chips in its orbit.
Some of them bubbles, yeah. Expensive of those bubbles. Just once that.
You remember those 7-Up commercials back in the day? You might be too young.
I might be too young for that.
Just one stack?
Somebody out there knows what I'm talking about as I'm listening to Christopher Usude's voice.
Sounds like the 7-Up guy?
The 7-Up guy.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
think the 7-Up guy was also a Bond villain at one point. You know I'm going to find it.
Oh, with his hand.
$1984, 7-Up, the Uncola.
Get some cocktails now. Get some cocktails.
My mind is just a trash compactor of historical uselessness.
Of useless information.
Queen 10-9-7 for Coleman. He made it $120 as he begins to apply more and more pressure. Starting to kind of run away with it. And Imsirovic just buckles with Jack 10-4, Len.
Yeah, if his tweet was genuine and that he is not exactly comfortable in PLO, it's you know, lean towards the tighter side, pick your spots well, which he's obviously going to do perfect given his tournament resume, so to speak. I don't mind him folding there, kind of a raggedy jacks.
Playing snug out there in the middle of the pack right now. 3rd out of 5 in chips. Touch behind Bleznick, who is well off his high water mark.
Call. Call.
Sanders limps.
Pot. It's still 200 total. 200 total.
And Imsirovic.
Wait to see his hand, but I'm assuming it's super premium. Yeah.
Says pot, and sure enough, ace, ace, 4 deuce. Kind of an as advertised, given the landscape here. Usude had limped behind. It could look a little squeezy, but
10 seconds.
against
I don't think so. Not
against
in this
Usude's
spot. Yeah.
stack depth and Sanders' stack
Yeah.
depth, you have to expect that these guys may very well be ready to go with something. And you have to be able to fade that risk.
Time.
Folds.
I had the aces.
And Ali will like that takedown, so to speak. Not have to fade, you know, wet flop that doesn't connect well with aces.
I mean, every little bit you can cobble together as the blinds are now 25 and
Cocktails?